can't see past my blindness. Oh, Ophelia, you've been on my mind, girl, since the flood. Oh, Ophelia, heaven help a fool who falls in love.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, the 6th of August, and it's 10 past 6 West Australian time, I think. So I've left the river about half hour ago, right on high tide, and got to about 0.8 under the keel. I realised I was slightly out of the channel, so generally I had about 1.5 metres getting out. And I'm heading about 60 nautical miles up the coast to a place called Kulama Bay, and possibly I'll be staying the night there and then heading off 6 AM the next morning to go around Cape Londonderry on hopefully a west flowing tide with an easterly style wind and tide together. Well, it's still Sunday, 9:15 WA time, and the wind has just swung around to the southeast, so it's pretty much directly behind me. Around about 10 knots true, so I'm going along at 5.4 knots without the motor. Well, it's still Sunday, almost 11 AM, and this beautiful breeze from the southeast at 15 to 18 true. It's Sunday 1 PM, and I'm rounding this point here and going into Kulama Bay. So it's been blowing 20 knots southeast, good breeze, good sailing conditions. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, the 7th of August. It's about 5:30 AM WA time. The sun will be rising in another perhaps a half hour, an hour. And I left Kulama Bay at midnight to get up around Cape Londonderry around about now to catch the ebb tide going west. There's no wind, so it should be a calm crossing or calm rounding. I've been told it's very rough when you get wind against tide, and it can become quite dangerous. It is neap tides currently, so the currents are not that great as opposed to a spring tide, so hopefully everything should be fine. I've got the engine on without the belt, as there's not enough wind to drive me around, but I've left the sails up. I had a good wind when I left, but then it petered out an hour ago. So it could be getting a little bit rockyish now as I get closer. Pretty much south, and down there is Cape Londonderry, about 2 miles away, and Cape Londonderry is the northernmost part of mainland WA. Yes, so I'm now turned the corner, and this is the bad stretch, I would say, but it's pretty good today. There's lots of large eddies, just like in Port Phillip Bay, the heads. So I can imagine on a wind against tide, this would be a horrible place. So I've picked the perfect timing to come through it. And I'm heading west-southwest, and I've got a 10 knot apparent south-southwest wind, and I've just got up to 8.3 knots with the current running with me. So I'm going to get through this 16-mile leg very quickly. Nearing the end of the 16-mile leg, across the Cape, and I'm still doing 7 knots with engine and 2 sails, so you must still have the tide with me. Well, it's 9:30 Monday, and rather than go into Honeymoon Bay, which is a whole 24 hours, I thought I'd keep going down to Bigge Island is the next one, so that's another 24 hours away. There was a good breeze in before, but it's dropped out again. So I'm just cruising along at 3.5 knots. I'm just about to download all my photos onto a hard drive. It's that calm that I can actually do it, as I look back to where I was going to go. I've got 6 more days to get down to, probably end up Broome, so I'm doing alright. Well, it's almost 2 o'clock Monday, and a 15 knot northeast has come in. So it's right behind me, so I've had to pole out. I've got 2 reefs in the main, but I can only get about 3.5–4 knots out of it. I'm rounding the top of Troughton Island. I'm about to head into the Troughton Passage, and the sea is quite confused, so I think it must be a case of wind against current, which seems to happen at headlands up here. Well, it's now 3 p.m. Monday, and the wind has gone around to the east, which is over my port stern, so I've had to jibe. It's dropped a little, gone down to 12. Around about 12 knots, true, from the 15 that it was in the horrible area. But I'm still only doing 3.5 knots, so it must be a slight current ahead of me. And about 7 miles to the south, there is the Kimberleys. So the main part of Australia, and down in that area is where there is a lot of pearl farms, according to Navionics. Good morning everyone. It is Tuesday, 6 a.m. and the sun is rising while the moon is setting, with a thoroughly modern Mr. Rabbit sitting with his iPad. And I'm approaching Bigge Island, so I hope to have a 2 or 3 hour rest here before continuing on to Cape Leveque and possibly Broome. So I've gone right through the night with the motor, dropped the sails around midnight as the wind dropped out, and then about 4:30 a breeze came in right on my nose, so I'm doing about 5.2, 5.3 knots. So it hasn't been rough, it's been very smooth sailing. or motoring. As I head round towards the south, there's lots of islands out here, rocks just sticking up nowhere. That's the Monlivid Islands, and looking down to the south a bit further is Bigge Island. And because it was so calm during the night, I was able to sleep most of the night. I woke up every couple of hours and checked. This is Wary Bay on the northwest corner of Bigge Island. Amazing looking place. There's a cruise ship in here, La Attitude. So I'm just going to cruise in here and out again and go down to the next bay called Boomerang Bay. So it is 11 AM Tuesday. And there's some cruise people on the beach up there. I can see they've got a beach umbrella out. Probably enjoying the swimming. And I've just got a wind report from the captain of the cruise ship. It's going to be light and variable winds from the south to the east for the next 2 days. So that's when I'm heading to Broome. So it's going to be ahead of me, but very light.